Hi guys, Brett from Gannet here. I'm here with Cameron, and today we're going to be showing you exactly how to get started with your Gannet Lite. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do, you can see those little thumb screws there. You're going to untighten those. You can put that somewhere. Then you're going to grab your battery. On your battery you can see there's the label that you can read, and you're going to make sure that these cables are going to be on the bottom side, so the underside. As you will see, there is the adapter right about there that the battery is going to plug into. So let's just chuck that in quickly. Okay, and then we're going to see in there's only one way that can go in. So it's going to go in. Okay. Now you can hear that the drone is making a little beeping noise. That is meaning that the flight controller has been turned off. There is a little button which we're going to show you now once it's been tightened. You can see Cameron's busy tightening up those screws over there. And just remember, the Gannet Lite is not a waterproof drone, so there's no real need to tighten these up to make sure that it's waterproof like it would be for the Pro Plus drones. Okay, so that's nice and tight. You can also notice over here our USB hatch has not got a cover on it. That's just because we're out here doing some testing. Yours will have a cover on that, so don't worry about that either. Okay, so as I said, you can hear that the drone is making a beeping noise. You'll also see that the motors are slightly pulsing. There's a slight pulse to them. That just means that the flight controller is turned off. All we need to do to turn it on is to hit that button. The noise will stop and the nozzle light system will come on. But we'll get more into that shortly. Now we're going to talk about the propellers and how to mount your propellers. So you're going to see that on some of the knobs there's going to be no white. On others you can see that there's white. Don't know if you can clearly see that. Sorry, we're out in the sunlight. There's a little white mark. What we've done for you is on the propellers, I don't know if you can see that, but there is a little white mark in the center there, and it's going to be white and white. So white and white. If there's no white in there, as you can see, then it's going to go onto a motor that hasn't got white on it. So Cam's going to show us quickly. Okay, and there's just a little pinch, a little bit of force that you need to add on to your last turn, just to make sure that the propeller is on correctly and tightly. You don't want to over tighten it because you can damage the thread, but just a little pinch is all that's needed. As you can see, I turned the flight controller back on because I was getting irritated by the noise. Cool, let's get this here. You can see that's got a white mark on it, so it's going to go onto the motor that's got a white mark on it. And then finally the last one. You see that last little pinch that he added just to make sure it's on. Okay, so just one thing I want to explain about the propellers. You can see here that there's a lip. It angles up like this. That is always going to go over the head when it comes to the front motors. These are always going up and over the head, up and over the head. One way to see if you've got your props on the right way around, on this side as well. And then towards the back here, this is going to come up and over. It's the same thing, up and over the back, up and over the back. Okay, cool. So we got the props on. We're basically ready to go. Cameron's now going to pick up the drone. He's going to go and set it out on the beach in a safe spot to take off. Okay, so now what we can do is, you can hear it's going to make the beep. You can see the motors moving. We're going to turn on the flight controller. It's quite important to look at the lights. The first lights, these green lights, are telling you everything's okay. And now what it's doing right now is it's busy warming up. When you're getting these rapid orange flashing lights, the drone's flight controller is warming up. This can take up to 2 minutes to warm up. Once the flight controller is warm and you're doing multiple drops, it should be a lot quicker. So just let it have its time. We're going to just watch this and just watch as the lights go. As I said, it can take up to 2 minutes, so let's see how long this takes. And in the meantime, what we can do is we can turn on the remote. So you'll see the remote is powered on by those lights. To turn it on, you just simply hit that button. What we don't want to do is we don't want to hit any of these trim buttons because those adjust how the drone basically will fly. And we've actually just missed something important here. We can see it's flashing green lights, which means that the warm-up is now complete and everything's good. And now it's going to flash. You would have seen it flash 3 reds, which means that there's not enough satellites, then 1 green, and then it's going to flash 2, then 1 green, and then it's going to flash 1 red, 1 green, and finally it's going to go green, green, green. When it goes green, 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 it means there's more than enough satellites. You want to wait for a rapid burst of greens, and that is going to tell you that you have home lock. But before we start flying, even though we could start flying right now, we want to do a compass calibration. So let's go have a look at the compass calibration quickly. Really simple, really easy. You should do this every single time that you fly. I personally do. Just know that you're going to be 100% safe. Let's have a look at it quickly. So we're on the remote here. We can see on this button here, okay, it says GPS, Atti and home. We're going to flip that up and down 6 to 7 times, and you're going to see the lights change to a solid orange. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, you hit it down, so let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we've left it in GPS, and if you can see that, it's all the way clicked down. We've now got this solid orange here, which is great. Okay, I'm going to take the remote from Cameron, and what he's going to do is he's going to pick up the drone, and he is going to rotate that drone. You can rotate it any direction you want, just make sure that the rotations are the same. You're going to see a green light there. Okay, that's great. You're going to drop it onto its head, and you're going to do the same rotations, and we're going to hope to see another green light. If we see another green light, which we did, there we go, we are now ready to fly. Okay, so I'm going to pass the remote back to Cameron. We're going to get back away from the drone at a safe distance. Okay, so we are now ready to fly. We know we've got GPS lock. We know that we've done a good compass calibration. To arm the drone, what we need to do, let me get out of the sunlight here so you guys can see. We're going to take those 2 sticks, we're going to bring them together. It's going to arm the drone, it's going to start spinning out. Now what we're going to do is that left stick is going to go all the way up, straight up, and the drone's going to take off. Something that I forgot to remember is make sure, guys, that we are in GPS lock over here, because that's going to hold your drone in the right position, and it's going to make it easy for you to fly. Okay, so we can see the drone's up in the air. Cam, let's try bring this drone a little bit down towards us. Try not kill us.
Oh, fuck it. In the sun.
Flying super stable. Yeah. So now for a little bit of the basics of flying. We're going to try to get this remote in the picture so you can see what happens. We're now going to turn the drone slightly to the left. For the drone, in order to turn slightly to the left, all that we're going to do is we are going to just slightly move that to the left. The drone is now facing to the left. If you want to go to the right, we'll move this stick to the right in that direction, and the drone will then move to the right. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, as we discussed earlier, the height, in order to get the height, we are going to, sorry, I'm doing this one-handed. Height will be up. You push this button up, and it's going to go up like that. Okay, and then the remote on the right, camera, will you hold this for me? There we go. Okay, so now a little bit that way, so we get that in the shot and bring them down. Okay, so I'm going to face it straight, a little bit easier for us to see. Okay, so now if we pull back on the sticks, the drone's going to come towards us. Remember, the rear of the drone is facing towards us, so we're pulling back on the stick, drone's coming towards us. If we push forward on the stick, the drone is going to go away from us. So upwards like that, the drone's going to go away from us. We can also go side to side, that's left, that's to the right, and the drone's going to move accordingly. And then yeah, finally up and down we've got there. Okay, So now when we're looking at other things, if you have chosen the electronic excess release, you'll just press that button, you'll hold it down, and the release will drop the bait. Otherwise you're going to have to use the mechanical version, which basically you continue flying and you stop your spool. You just need to make sure that you set it to the correct weight for your bait. But we'll talk about that in another little tutorial that we do. Okay, so now we've got a couple settings here that are to take note of. We've got GPS lock, which is going to make it hover like that. So we've got GPS lock, which it currently is all the way in there. It's going to make the drone hover nicely. Then we've also got Atti Mode. So I'm going to flip over to Atti Mode. Atti Mode is basically going to hold the altitude, but it's going to allow the drone to drift in the wind. So we just need to be a bit careful because the drone will be able to be blown away. So you are going to have to be able to fly this drone manually essentially. So let's go across to it, you'll see it. I'm going to hit into Atti Mode. It's just a click, single click. Now you're going to see the drone start to drift. I can control that and fight that myself. And it's always good to learn to fly in Atti Mode, guys. You never know what's going to happen out there when you're flying a drone, and if you can fly in Atti Mode, you should always be able to get your drone back safely. Flip back into GPS and the drone's just going to hover in the same position. Okay, then the final one to take note of here on this right button is return to home. If you ever get in trouble, all you're going to do is you're going to flip all the way over to return to home. The drone's going to go fly up 20 meters, come back, and it's going to land on the spot that it took off from. So I'm going to hit that button quickly just so we can have a look. All the way down. It's the seagull, you better get out the way. So right now it's going to go up to about 20 meters. The seagull's not happy with that at all. And it's going to go find the spot that it was originally at when it took off, and it's going to start descending slowly. Okay, as you can see, I'm not touching this remote at all. It's going to be doing all of this by itself. And this would happen if you're 300 meters out, you can't see your drone anymore, you hit the return to home, it's going to come back, fly all the way down, and it's going to do this landing for you. Okay, so you can still see the remote's still here, not touching it. It's going to get about 30 centimeters off, and then it's going to start looking for the ground. There we go. One more time. And there we go. Now it's found the ground. It's going to turn off in a couple of seconds. So yeah, successful return to home. And that's it, guys, for flying for your first time. It's as simple as that. I do want to quickly show you guys a manual landing, which obviously is the way to actually land. Let me quickly show you. Again, we're going to on the sticks, they're going to go out and together. We're going to take off, pushing that throttle up. Okay, there we go. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to bring it down very slowly. Very slowly. Till it wants to land. And the stick onto the side. Wait a couple seconds. It takes about 5 seconds to disarm. And that's as simple as it is. Just like that.